extremely hard and built a very nice home. Couple of things. Where was the St. Louis police? Where were the police to prevent this mob, this group, from entering and busting through the gate of this gated community, this private gated community, as they were busting in to get to the mayor's house for their protest, which took them past the McCluskey's house? Where the hell were the police? The police had to know about this protest. They must have known about the throngs of individuals and this march. How did they allow them to break in? Again, where's the law and order, especially if they're headed toward the mayor's house for safety and security and protection of the mayor and her property? Why the hell were they not stopped? I fully understand. When you've seen the rioting, when you've seen the arson, when you've heard about the violence and the shootings, for instance, inside the CHOP or the Chaz zone. Oh, there's another shooting. I don't know if you know. Another shooting in Seattle, inside the Chaz, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, or the protest zone, either Chaz or CHOP, whatever you want to call it. And they started taking down. They've removed a lot of the permanent barriers in the fenced area. They're starting to remove this, and a lot of it's been removed. But guess what? Guess what? The protesters are starting to put their own new makeshift barriers up. Just take that crap down. Law and order. I agree. Trump is 100% right. Law and order. But again, where was the St. Louis police protecting the property? And even if you just look at it from the standpoint of the mayor should be protected by law enforcement in St. Louis. And why were they allowed to go in and trespass? It's trespassing. I understand why the McCloskeys were in fear. I get it, because of what we've seen. There's been a lot of nastiness. People being beat up, property being, like I said, lit on fire, arsons. So I understand why Mark McCloskey and his wife, Patricia, why they were upset. Now, here's where I'm going to break a little bit, in that I don't think I would have been outside. The protesters that I saw, apparently there were verbal threats that were issued, but again, when you're standing outside with guns, that could exacerbate the situation. Now, if they start busting into your house, that's a whole different story. You know, states that have canceled doctrines, you can protect yourself inside your home. But if you have a property crime on the outside, on your front lawn, or the exterior, now, then you don't have the right to shoot somebody. I wonder if, and I'm sure there are provisions, if somebody had Molotov cocktails, if they had liquid accelerants and they're about to light your house on fire, that'd be a really interesting case in the use of deadly force and, of course, the egregiousness of arson per se. I don't know if that exists. That's an interesting study. Any lawyers out there? My wife's an attorney. I might ask her to maybe go through Westlaw, log on, and see if there's anything out there as far as somebody using deadly force to stop an arson. That would certainly be something interesting to take a look at. I think I'm going to do a little research. Now, again, the issue with the couple, I don't think I would have been outside. I'm willing to take some phone calls on this. Would you like to weigh in? What are your thoughts on the husband and wife St. Louis that are now being threatened by the district attorney, the prosecutor in St. Louis County, and they're going to go after them, they're going to look into prosecuting them and looking for charges, fullest extent of the law, you know the drill. Would you like to weigh in on the McCloskeys as I continue to, I want to talk about gun safety next, and then the mistakes they made. And maybe I should offer to pay for some basic firearm safety training for them. But I understand their fear. I mean, their intimidation level. What was that, Sue? Right? Yeah. Sue said I think they can afford their own safety courses. But listen, maybe I could do them something nice and kind of bring them up to speed. But like I said, I understand that they said they were threatened. Their attorney is saying that they were yelled at, that they threatened to burn their house down. I get it. I understand. I just don't know if I would have potentially exacerbated the situation by being outside holding an AR-style platform, or the wife, flashing haphazardly the small silver-colored handgun that she had. What I saw is that they're gun owners, but they don't have a lot of knowledge. And again, I'm not siding with these protesters that trespassed. I have contempt for these protesters and any threats that they made against this family. I sympathize, I empathize with them and what they went through. But again, stay inside. Don't go outside with an AR-15, with a silver handgun. Don't get into the yelling. Don't go back and forth with this crowd. Police should have been there to stop this, but obviously they were not. But when you look at them, they just don't appear to know a lot regarding the handling of the weapon. Now, the video that I saw that Mark McCloskey did not have his finger on the trigger on the AR-15 on the lower, which is good. But the wife, who was flashing around, and it didn't look like she had a really good command and a grip of her small silver-colored handgun, her finger was on the trigger. And again, this weapon was being pointed at people, and that's a mistake. If you look at her hand and her wrist, it was kind of floppy. It didn't appear like she had, again, a good command or a hold of this particular weapon. And again, I saw the wife pointing the handgun at the people that were walking by on the street or the sidewalk. And I think that's potentially dangerous. You do not, I repeat, and I welcome you to phone in, folks. If you want to weigh in on the McCloskeys and their intimidation with the protesters outside their home in St. Louis, with the husband and wife outside with the guns, if you want to weigh in, 800-801-8999. Feel free. Let's grab some calls on this in just a minute. 800-801-8999. 800-801-8999. But again, the gun was pointed at some of the protesters with her finger on the trigger, and that's not cool. Also keep in mind that Mark McCloskey holding the AR, I mean, that is a high-powered platform. That bullet can travel a couple of miles. So, again, why was he holding the weapon at essentially torso level? Aim that thing at the ground. If you notice, those that carry ARs, if you see National Guard, or if they're on patrol in many cases, or standing outside a governmental building, those weapons are pointed down at the ground. And again, I don't think they should have gone out in the first place, but make sure that the weapon is pointed at the ground, Mr. McCloskey. I'm just trying to give you some tips to avoid the folks that are attacking you now. And again, you can't shoot somebody because of a crime over property.